Alright, today I want to do a review of this 1980 Sword and Sorcery fantasy Tower of Despair by David J. Kelly. So I didn't know anything about this book going in, and when I first started reading it, it seemed like there was a lot of backstory at the very beginning, which led me to believe that it's maybe like part 2 or part 3. And I just happened to pick up, like, the 4th installment or something. But from all that I could see, this is supposed to be it's the only one. This is like a standalone. It stars this Conan type hero, swordsman named Killstar. He is dating a witch lady, the sorceress. The sorceress has a familiar that's a cat with wings that flies around and talks, and Killstar and the cat hate each other. But it's never really said why, but a lot of stuff isn't. Killstar is thousands of years old, is partly possessed by an ancient sorcerer spirit who is from another Earth. Yeah, I don't know. This is really confusing, and I just don't understand why they just didn't. I mean, he should have just made it like a Conan type story, but it's like sci-fi, multiple worlds. There's all kinds of Earths, and nothing is explained well. And I really don't know. Like, the backstory was just so. It should have been its own novel. So I'm not going to get everything correctly here. So he's like half possessed. He needs to find the soul part of him, the soul part of him's evil brother from 1,000 years ago that killed him, and his wife at the time captured his wife and killed him, and somehow his spirit went into Killstar, and then thousands of years later he's still alive, walking around until he decides that now is the time to go find this guy. I think, from what I understand, there is some aliens from another planet came down and cursed everyone with this stuff called the mutange, which mutates people and changes them into like dwarves or fairies and like puddles of goo and all kinds of just crazy things. And they made a deal with the evil sorcerer guy, or he made a deal with them. So now he's working on the mutange, and he like is evil, so he like captures people and tests it out. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. So Killstar is like, they're fighting. There's this group that works for the evil sorcerer called the Dread Elite, which is a really cool name. They're all like in red, and they're, they got shaved heads and no facial hair. Like, they're looking for Killstar because it's prophesized that he's the one who's going to put an end to the evil sorcerer. Killstar and the sorcerer lady and the cat team up with this little mutant dwarf guy. They go through the magic mirror into old Earth or Earth 200, or I don't fucking know. And then when they get there, that's where the sorcerer is and his Dread Elite, and adventure ensues. Yeah, obviously the beginning was a big muddled mess. And I kind of was just hoping for a sword and sorcery, just a basic adventure, but I got like this crazy sci-fi mutant aliens thing. The writing was okay. The Killstar was, to be honest, very not Conan. He fails a lot, and he's just kind of there. It's very, I guess, impotent is the word. yeah, a lot of the time he's just like along for the ride, and it's like I thought this was the hero guy. The sorcerer lady is the true badass, and even the little dwarf is cooler. As Killstar just kind of mopes around. It got more interesting about a little over halfway, and then you know, he's so ineffectual that it was just like, why is he the main star? Like, get the point of view off of him. I'd rather see like the sorcerer lady working on her stuff, who's actually the one that, you know, who kicks ass. But you know, the end comes along and Killstar does his prophesized thing. It was kind of crappy. It put me in a tower of despair. It was put out by Carousel Books, which I had never heard of. But I got the latest issue of Paperback Fanatic. And it always takes me a while to read them. So there's this article written by Justin Marriott called "The Carousel of Crap" about all of Carousel's releases. Where he says like they're one of the worst publishers. And it was really funny because I've had this magazine for a while, but it took me a while to read it, and I literally just finished Tower of Despair and I was like, oh yeah, I haven't finished the Paperback Fanatic. And I started reading it. It was like the first article was Catalog of Crap, and I was like, oh look, there's Tower of Despair. So that was kind of funny. I don't know if I would consider it like truly crap, but it had its moments. But yeah, it was pretty bad. It's just a big muddled mess. And no follow through on the lead character. And just shit coming out of nowhere, like the aliens and why all the different Earths. I don't know. It could have been simplified and it would have been a lot better. But at least they tried something different, right? So yeah, that's it. Tower of Despair, 1980, Sword and Sorcery. I do like the cover though. In the article, he makes fun of the cover art, but